Well, good day. I thought I'd give a little overview of Mahseer. Mahseer's an Alberg 30. We owned her 10 years ago for a few years, sold her to some friends, and then bought her back last fall. And she is now located at the P Sailing Club, Lac de Chêne. Wonderful boat. We love her very dearly. So, few upgrades to Mahseer in the last few years. Include a new electric windlass, nice rocknet anchor, really solid ground tackle. This year my wife and I redid the non-skid in kiwi grip, and we have yet to repaint the cabin size. That might come sometime this summer. I wooded all of the woodwork and redid them in Epiphane's wood gloss finish as an alternative to my old standby of Cetal. So we'll see how well that holds up. But the woodwork is all done. She has a nice barbecue and a propane tank. An interesting detail, the gentleman I bought her from years ago had modified her extensively, had taken her down to the Bahamas, and one of the modifications he made was he put in a split stern rail or stern pulpit with a ladder kind of in the middle. Very, very nice to actually climb aboard. I mean, unfortunately it precludes putting in something like a Cape Horn wind vane steering system, but the advantage for small water cruising when you're swimming and so on is just tremendous. She sports a 380 watt solar panel. So this marina has no shore power. We do have a service dock area down, you can't really see it, way down yonder towards the clubhouse. But you know, I'm not very keen on moving the boat and parking her there overnight to recharge the batteries, so we're very, very happy to be electrically self-sufficient. Now let's go down below and have a look, because there's some interesting features to this boat that were done by the again, the gentleman who sold her to me. So she's pretty typical in terms of her small galley, a little Origo alcohol stove. Pardon the mess, we're still in the process of recommissioning her for the season. We have really nice cockpit cushions. Years ago when we used to own her, my wife had redone all of the cabin cushions with Sunbrella, and it has held up very, very well indeed. It's still in pretty pristine condition. So we have a bit of a chart table, a TV for luxury. You can watch DVDs, create a hotspot, and watch YouTube videos, that sort of thing. Very, very cozy, very comfortable little boat. Even though I've had bigger boats, you know, I come back to this boat as being the ultimate in terms of cozy comfort. It's small, but very, very comfortable. Lovely patina on all of the interior woodwork. Might need a bit of sprucing up in some areas this year with varnish, but otherwise in very good shape. Of course, the head is pretty standard with the folding bifold door. We need to actually install like a little strap with snaps that would keep this tame while underway. There is also a nice, well, what used to be a hanging locker is now shelving, where we stow all of our, you know, weather gear and our blankets and so on. But one of the things I wanted to point out was the V-berth. So the previous owner had totally redone the bulkhead, and you know that these boats have the traditional V-berth arrangement, which is not fun to get in and out of, especially as you get on in years. So what he did is he moved the companionway a little bit to starboard. He installed a really, really beefy compression post that goes right down to the keel. So no issues there in terms of providing good support for the deck step mast. Really, really solid 4x4 made of oak. And what's really fun is the V-berth has been completely reconfigured to have basically a double bed with great ease of getting into the bed and getting out at night. There's even a nice little vanity seat where you can sit and put on your socks or do whatever. This is a very nice little double, very spacious, and quite unique actually in terms of, I think any boat with a V-berth arrangement, at least boat in this size range, and certainly unique for an Alberg 30. And then up forward where the chain locker is, there is the little table that goes on a support post that you can either have in the cabin, in the main salon, or you can have it out in the cockpit. There's a little socket in the floor grate. Ouch! Keep bumping my head. Of course, the boat is a little shorter than my old boat used to be. I used to have an Aloha 32, which was quite a bit bigger, so I have to get used to the size. But anyway, thought might make for an interesting little featurette on the interior accommodations of the Alberg 30. I should mention with regards to my electrical setup, so I have basically 4 golf cart batteries, 4 6-volt golf cart batteries, and a starter battery under the floor in the cabin. In addition, in the starboard locker, there are 2 AGM batteries, so I have a total of about 700 amp hours of capacity. Now, of course, these are lead acid or flooded lead acid batteries, so obviously the usable capacity is roughly half of that. But pretty darn good. The boat runs a fridge 24/7 in the summer months. Always nice and cold and frosty. Right now we are at 5.5 degrees, which is what we like to keep it at. So the beer and the pop and food and stuff stays cold. And this is never shut off. The boat is never plugged into shore power. I do have a shore power plug-in. You can see at the aft end of the cockpit there and the cable, but we never ever bother plugging it in. The panel, the wiring has been completely redone on this boat. So lots of really, nice switches. It's not ideal, of course, to have a switch panel right under the companionway because you can get water, but you know, on a boat of this size, where else can you put it? Boat is really well set up with coulometers and, of course, an MPPT charge controller, so really, really well set up. 3 different switches for the 3 battery banks. So there are 2 deep cycle house battery banks, and then there is 1 starting battery. And as you can see right now, they all read 100%. I don't know if you can see the detail, the display on the video there, but they all read 100% full. They're rarely ever out of juice. I also have an inverter on board. I'll get to that later. I have a nice inverter. It's located in the head, which allows me to plug in power tools and so on and so forth. There's the little inverter. Really nice little setup. And we have a lot of USB charging ports. We have some behind the TV here, and we have a little bag here for all the charging cords and more charging ports underneath here. So really well set up for in terms of electronics, at least the basic electronics that you would need on a boat of this size. And lots of stowage. She's got the Atomic 4 engine. I'm not going to bother opening the companionway steps, but it's a really nice engine. It's got the electronic ignition. It's freshwater cooled and has always been meticulously looked after. It's very, very reliable. Very quiet and smooth. We put on the new Indigo prop, the 3-bladed prop. Very, very nice. And I would see no reason really to change it. Mechanically very simple. If you can fix a lawnmower, you can pretty much fix an Atomic 4. So really nice. Anyway, thought some folks would be interested in this. So toodaloo.